Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the East Brandywine Township Board of Supervisors PM meeting for Thursday, January 18th, 6:30 p.m. Just a reminder that during tonight's meeting, there will be a recording device used. Opening the meeting, we'll start that with the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I'm going to start the meeting out with public comment for agenda items. Just a reminder, rules of conduct for the public meeting, resolution 2001-08, the time allotted to each individual making a comment shall be 3 minutes unless otherwise set by the presiding officer. Additional public comment may be granted at the discretion of the presiding officer at the conclusion of tonight's meeting. So we'll open it up for agenda comments. Seeing none, we're going to go ahead and move on to the minutes of the previous meeting. Approval of the December 21st, 2023 Board of Supervisors PM meeting minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second. All in favor? Aye. And approval of the December 27th, 2023 Board of Supervisors special meeting minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the special meeting minutes.
And I will second. All in favor?
Aye.
And approval of the January 2nd, 2024 Board of Supervisor organizational meeting minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the organizational meeting.
And I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, I'm going to turn it over to Luke for the Township Manager's Report.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. At the risk of stealing the East Brandywine Fire Company's thunder since I make my first report, I'm pleased to report that the Township is in receipt of a report from Insurance Services Office, or ISO. ISO collects and evaluates information from communities in the United States on their structure fire suppression capabilities. ISO assigns a public protection classification, or PPC, grade representing the risk of fire loss. East Brandywine Township's rating is now 4/4X. What does this mean? In general, the price of fire insurance for a community with a good PPC grade is substantially lower than in a community with a poor PPC grade, assuming all other factors are equal. 4/4X good? I've included in my report a chart, and you can see just how few communities score better, bearing in mind that a low score is good here, and just how many communities score worse. In other words, it's a very good score. In short, our excellent service, courtesy of East Brandywine Fire Company, saves us all money on our insurance premiums. My thanks to the volunteer of the fire company for this accomplishment, and my congratulations to all the officers installed at last night's ceremony. The Chester County Municipal Managers Consortium has been working with the legal firm, the Cohen Group, to develop a proposal for a multi-municipal approach to renewing our Verizon franchise agreement. There are approximately 25 or 30 municipalities in the county, including our own, that are eligible to negotiate cable franchise renewal with Verizon. The cable franchise agreements for these municipalities are set to expire within the next 2 or 2.5 years. Franchise renewal is the best opportunity for local governments to obtain significant benefits and assert their legal rights with the cable company. A multi-municipal negotiation also increases the leverage of each municipality and reduces their attorney's fees. There's been some changes in video technology since the commencement of the municipality's current franchise agreements. This is especially dramatic in the growth of internet-based video services, otherwise known as streaming services. In addition, there have been changes to the franchise operations of Verizon, as the company has experienced even more competition today than it did when the current agreements went into effect. Cohen is recommending that the townships, 1, conduct a franchise fee audit to ensure that each municipality has received all the franchise fee revenues to which it's entitled from revenue under the current franchise, and negotiate a new franchise agreement that addresses the changes since the last franchise agreement was written. The cost of the township will depend on the number of participating municipalities, which is currently at 11, If we can get to 14, our cost will be $8,000, $8,075. And if we can get to 20, our cost will be $7,600. For the purpose of establishing an unofficial account, I would like to report back to the Municipal Managers Consortium that East Brandywine Township is interested. Official action will happen at a future meeting. Are there any questions about the township's participation in this?
I heard you say that there are 11 now. Is that 11 as of within the last couple of weeks, or is that 11 as in the last couple of years, and we're just getting into the...
11 in the current cycle. I've seen 2 additional emails, which I presume, so we might be number 14, which will save us on the rates. This is not an official board action. I will respond if the township is interested in participating. The documents for execution will appear at your next agenda.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. And if you would mind, Lisa, I apologize, I skipped the treasurer's report and the authorization to pay bills. We all have it, but you can do the big ticket items.
I'll make a motion to approve the treasurer's report and authorize to pay the bills and approve the payroll.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye.
I would just note for the supervisors that the year-end internal financial statements are in there for the whole year, comparing 23 to 22. It's an easy read. You might just go through it, and if you have any questions, you can contact Luke or myself.
Thank you. All right, we have a copy of the building inspector's report. We're good on that. Go ahead, Matt, if you will.
Sure, thank you. Residents are reminded to remove their cars from streets within 2 hours after the start of a snowstorm and until the streets are cleared from curb to curb. Removing cars makes the road department's job safer and much easier. I'm glad to announce FEMA has approved $416,440 for the replacement of the culvert on Old Horseshoe Pike. The existing culvert was damaged during Hurricane Ida in September 2021. The culvert, will be replaced utilizing a steel arch. We continue to work with FEMA for permanent repairs to the bridge at Bondsville Mill Park. And I'm going to ask permission from the board to sign, it's on their grants portal, to accept the $416,440. I did not put that in the report.
How did that happen all of a sudden?
They were asking for, FEMA was asking for additional information, such as what it would cost to replace the existing culvert, not replace, repair the existing culvert. So our engineer Pannoni provided that information to them, and I guess FEMA did some type of cost analysis. They looked at the H&H report that states that the existing culvert is not of adequate size, and I think that's how FEMA.
So even after their rejection, they went back and took a second look at it.
Yeah.
That's,
Yeah, Mr. Van Loo is given the technical answer. I think the spiritual answer is the reason it's happened is persistence, and he's probably too modest to say it, but just continuing to pressure FEMA to get the money, and that's the Romaster has done.
that's what I thought. I thought Mr. Van Loo was the one who got them to look at it again. So I appreciate that very much.
Matt, are there details on this mentioned steel arch? Is this a drop-in?
That would have to be determined by the engineers.
So that hasn't been designed or
No,
anything?
no
So that-
design work
That's
or
just a statement
Right.
based on conversations with FEMA?
That was what Pannoni based their replacement
Okay.
estimate on, was a steel arch.
I reviewed that spec that they put together, and it was quite a substantial spec that they had, if that helped you
Are you going to
secure
consider?
this amount of money, but it seems like it might be somewhat of an overkill, but we'll, I guess, discuss that as we go forward.
Yeah, the design still has to be.
You recommended in an internal memo to have another engineering firm look at it in regards to
Yeah, quite
Mr.
possibly,
Tarashi's
yeah.
question, so I'm in favor of that too, to make sure that we're not over-designing and that the engineering doesn't exceed the cost of the bridge.
Right. And if I may add, this arrangement, there is no local match. The primary source of funds would be the Federal Emergency Management Agency. The match would be Pennsylvania Emergency Management Agency. So as we talk about procurement or specs of a replacement, obviously it's all run by them since they're paying 100% of the bills.
So that full amount will come from FEMA then?
Correct, there is no local match. There has been a substantial soft cost investment to get to this point, which has not been reimbursed, namely staff time and the H&H study.
90% is FEMA, 10% is.
Now, we had to do a hydraulic study too, that cost.
That's, yeah,
Correct.
that was one of
Yeah.
them.
That was the soft cost of that.
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
So I'm okay to sign the,
thank you, Matt.
thank you.
Okay, Chief?
Good evening. The
Oh, I'm
police,
sorry. Tom, I'm sorry, Chief.
no problem.
The mower. Did you want to talk about the mower?
Yeah, that or there's a line item.
I had asked that that be included as action item under new business. I realize I live in a glass house. I generally don't like to ask the board to do something in the reports section of the
Yeah,
meeting.
perfect. Let's do
I say that after 5 minutes ago, I asked the board to do something as part of my
Yeah,
report.
no problem.
So-
Sorry, Chief. Luke Rudy interrupted us. Yes.
Hang on a second. Good evening. The monthly report for December 2023, we had 2,208 monthly events in East Brandywine. The officers completed 174 investigations. There were 8 criminal arrests, 1 summary arrest, 2 warrant arrests. We only had 3 accident investigations. We had 44 traffic citations issued, 62 warnings issued, and officers logged 10,060 miles of patrol. Training completed, Corporal 1 Lemus and Detective Bo Shepherd attended a week-long patrol rifle instructor recertification. Kudos to them because it was the week we had the 10-degree weather and they were in an outdoor range. So they had a lot of fun. I've included the officer activity report for December 2023, and a list of the calls for service. And also in your packet, I took the liberty to compile all the monthly reports for the year 2023 and the calls for service. I'm not going to go through all those numbers, but maybe you can look through that. That is all. Thank you.
Thank you. And the East Brandywine Fire Company.
Good evening. The report for the month of December, the East Brandywine Fire Company responded to 88 total incidents, 40 fire, 48 medical, 12 fire calls in East Brandywine Township, 25 medical calls in East Brandywine Township. We had 3 training sessions with an average of 33 personnel in attendance, and we averaged 13 personnel per call, 21 for major incidents. While the call was not in East Brandywine Township, I was pretty well noted that the Gulf Zone had a major fire that we had to respond to. We handled that with a collaborative effort of many of the surrounding fire departments. Also wanted to thank everybody who came out last night for our annual officer installation dinner. It was a huge success.
It was a huge success, and one of the points that you guys had made during your presentation was, I think it was Christmas Eve, the fire, and how many were on site for that?
Oh, good point. So Christmas Eve, there was a fire just over the line off of Brittany Lane in Wallace Township, and we traditionally hold a Christmas Eve fireman's breakfast for your family and all their kids. and there was 35 firemen on station, and we had all 4 pieces of apparatus on the scene before any surrounding companies even responded to the call. We were able to contain the fire. Unfortunately, that family suffered a huge loss that day, but we were able to contain it to where it was when we got there.
Thank you for your service. Okay, I don't believe we have any old business, but we're going to now kick it back over to the roadmaster for the request for the Ventrac mower and attachments.
In your package is a proposal for the Ventrac mower. This mower will be utilized for mowing steep slopes, stormwater basins, and drip fields. We currently mow steep slopes with a trimmer or a walk-behind brush mower. This new mower would give us a safer and more economical way to maintain these difficult areas. Also, it's designed with 8 tires on it, which gives it low ground pressure, and it's ideal for preventing compaction of areas intended for infiltration, such as the basin bottoms and also the drip areas. And I respectfully request permission to purchase the Ventrac mower for $44,715.80.
If I may provide a quick fiscal note, the proposed purchase is on a CoStarz contract. The contract's number is 031121-TTC. This is a budgeted purchase item, and it exceeds my spending authority to authorize without board approval.
And I apologize, I missed, what were the attachments?
The attachments, there's 2 mowers that are on the front. The first is a rotary mower, and it's mainly used for steep banks. And then the second is a, look here for a second, sorry. It's called a tough cut, which is a flail mower. So it's better for chopping up materials and gives a better cut for drip fields. And we could also utilize this in other types of mowing also.
What drip fields is the township cutting?
Municipal authority drip
Okay,
fields.
so it would be all drip fields. They fall under the municipal authority's
Yes,
responsibility.
yes.
Not the HOA. So that's all.
Right.
municipal sewer. Gotcha.
And we do back charge municipal authority for all mowing.
Charge to the user.
Yeah, that's part of the sewage fees, yes.
Any other questions? Any motions?
I move that we purchase the Ventrac mower with the aforementioned attachments for the road department.
I'll second. All in favor? Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, and now we're going to turn it over to Luke for the appointment of Scott Pearsall to the municipal authority.
Thank you. The East Brandywine Township Municipal Authority has recommended Scott Pearsall to fill a vacancy caused by a resignation on their 5-member board. Included in your packet is the application material for Mr. Pearsall. I'm sure his qualifications are well known to everyone here. At this time, I would respectfully ask that the board appoint Scott Pearsall to fill the unexpired vacancy on the East Brandywine Municipal Authority Board.
I'll make a motion to appoint Scott Pearsall to the municipal authority for the unexpired term.
I will second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Okay, so it's the 2024 Notice of Intent to Participate in Township-Sponsored Benefits. Luke, I'll turn it over to you again.
Right, this is not an action item, this is an information item. Section 606C1 of the Second-Class Township Code states that supervisors, whether or not they are employed by the township, and their dependents are eligible for inclusion in group life, health, hospitalization, and medical services and accident insurance plans paid in whole or in part by the township. Their inclusion in those plans does not require auditor approval, but does require the submission of a letter requesting participation at a regularly scheduled meeting of the Board of Supervisors before commencing participation. Township staff is in receipt of a notice from Supervisor Taraski, so indicating his interest in participating in the health reimbursement arrangement portion of our benefits.
Thank you. Okay, and I'm gonna, you might as well just keep rolling right over.
Okay. Also related to vacancies on various boards and commissions advising the supervisors. There is a vacancy on the East Brandywine Township Parks and Recreation Committee. The committee is pleased to recommend that vacancy be filled by Martha Champlin. Included in your packet is her application form. I should note that she has previously volunteered with Bondsville Mill, and at this time, I would respectfully ask the board consider appointing Ms. Champlin to the unexpired. I think we actually have two vacancies. Let me phrase a proposed motion like this. That she be appointed to fill the longer of the two unexpired terms available on the Parks and Recreation Board.
I'll make a motion to appoint Martha Champlin to the longest unexpired term to the Park and Recreation Committee.
I will second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Go ahead again, Luke.
All right, so included in your packet this evening is a contract amendment between East Brandywine Township and Chester County as it relates to a grant for Bondsville Mill Park improvements, phases 3 and 4. Phases 3 and 4 of the Bondsville Mill project were the purchase of plants for the cleared concrete pad, the garden known as Culp's Garden, and phase 4 is the construction of a parking lot. It is necessary to amend just one component of that contract, and that is the contract termination date. The new contract termination date will be December 31st, 2024, so the end of the current year. So I would respectfully ask the board to execute amendment number 3 to the contract for the municipal grant program.
All right, I'll make a motion to approve amendment number 3, the Chester County Municipal Grant for Bondsville Mill Phases 3 and 4.
And I will second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we don't have any subdivision and zoning applications this evening, nor do we have any ordinance or resolution for consideration. Do we have any public comment on non-agenda items? Seeing none, we will move on to notices. An executive session was held on Tuesday, January 9th, to discuss personnel matters. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I move that we adjourn.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you, everybody.